Yo, welcome in. This is Richard from Knicks Media, and today I'll be giving you guys my recap and my post-game thoughts of the Knicks and Heat game that just got wrapped up. The Knicks got absolutely demolished, and the Knicks have now lost 5 of their last 6 games. And I kind of want to go on a little rant because all the frustration is really bottled up inside of me. And I was watching that game and I was just so pissed off from start to finish. I honestly anticipated this game to happen in terms of the Heat blowing us out. They're the best team in the East. The Miami Heat has had our number for so long. So I kind of expected this game to happen. But then when you watch it unfold and you see what the Knicks are putting out there, head coach Tom Thibodeau lacking adjustments, our number one option and our supposed leader of the team, and Julius Randle doing absolutely nothing, just getting double teamed, not knowing what to do with the ball, turning it over, chucking up bricks, lack of adjustments from the coaching staff, not even playing Reddish, Alec Burks. I mean, there's so much I want to get into in today's video, guys. So welcome into the stream. Make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button on your way in. I would greatly appreciate that. So we get as many Knicks fans in here to, let your frustrations loose. So salute to everybody in the chat. Welcome in. This is going to be a stream where we dive deep into this game and, let our frustrations come out there. Let our frustrations feel out there, because I was watching this game and I was trying not to get really upset. If you guys follow me on Twitter at NY Knicks Media, I was live tweeting during the game, and you'll see how my emotions were. I was just going absolutely insane. I was getting so pissed off. I just see Alec Burks being the first man off the bench, and then he just chucks up bricks after bricks, turning the ball over, missing a wide open layup, and then it turns into a Heat 3, and you're sitting there like, why is Alec Burks the first man off the bench? This man is atrocious. So let's get into the post-game recap, guys. So starting off this game, the Heat go on a 9-0 run. We're down 9-0 early, and then eventually we're down 11-2. If you're going to be down to the Miami Heat by double digits, I think it was 13-2 to start off the game, you're just digging yourself into an absolute impossible hole. The Miami Heat are one of the best defensive teams in the league, and they absolutely just put on a clinic against how to defend the New York Knicks. Eric Spoelstra just absolutely outcoached Tom Thibodeau to the point where it was embarrassing. It was pathetic. There's so much lack of adjustments. Tom Thibodeau needs to understand that in today's NBA, your number one play call should not be feeding the ball to Julius Randle in the post on the baseline. It's so predictable. It's the same nonsense every single time. It's either a play call where the point guard comes up and there's two guys setting the screen, Randle and Robinson, and the point guard has a choice to go right or left. It's either that play, or it's either the play where you just feature Julius Randle and it gets double teamed on the baseline. And whenever Julius Randle gets double teamed, he's goddamn awful at reading double teams. That's what the problem is. The Miami Heat just absolutely put on a clinic defensively. They made sure whenever Julius Randle had the ball, they double-teamed him. They made sure that he cannot get to any type of comfortability, not getting any type of rhythm. And they forced Julius Randle to force the ball, turn it over, chuck up bad shots, not getting into rhythm early. And Julius Randle is now officially becoming a player that I would say 99% of Knicks fans have turned on. Just in terms of wanting to get rid of him. And I understand, I was always one of those Knicks fans that tried to believe in Julius and always felt like he would, get out of this rut, because I feel like last year proved that he could be the guy just in terms of, a future piece to this team. I think the playoffs for me proved that Julius Randle will never be a number one option on a championship contender team. But now we're seeing Julius Randle crumbling, and I think it's more mentally than anything else. I think Julius Randle is just not capable of handling the New York pressure ever since he let out his frustrations at the New York Knicks home crowd in Madison Square Garden, telling him to shut the F up, booing, going like this. It was completely different. So now Julius Randle, he has to understand that in order to succeed in this league at the high level in the media market like the New York Knicks, you got to be able to handle the pressure, and you can tell that he's not mentally capable of doing that. And it's really frustrating, because if you look at the starting five, and that's the next thing I want to get into, not only Julius Randle, but the entire starting five is absolutely abysmal outside of RJ Barrett. He's been the only consistent player on this Knicks team. He's averaging around 24 points per game since 2022 in the month of January, shooting efficiently from 45% from the field, 41% from downtown. RJ Barrett's been nothing short of sensational for the New York Knicks. But the starting five as a unit, I mean, look at this. I'm scared to show you guys the stats right now, and I'm going to do it. Brace your eyes, guys. I don't want to, scare you guys off the stream, but I'm going to show you these stats because the plus minus of the starting lineup is absolutely inexcusable. I don't know. I don't understand how you can possibly go out there and do this. So here we go. This is the stats, the box score. Look at right here. Julius Randle, plus minus of a minus 34. Kemba Walker, minus 30. Evan Fournier, minus 27. RJ, minus 36. Let's go to the bench unit. Obi Toppin, plus 20. Quentin Grimes, plus 18. Emmanuel Quickly, plus 16. I mean, you guys see what's happening. There's not one person on the bench with a negative net rating. There's not one person that has a negative plus minus on the bench. And then you switch over to here, and this is an issue. It is an issue. And I don't know what change needs to happen, but something needs to happen as soon as possible. I mean, RJ Barrett led the way with 17 points, and then 7, 7, 7, and 11. I mean, if you're Julius Randle and you shoot 5 of 12 from the field, and you're turning the ball over 4 times and have a plus minus of a minus 34, what is your value? And you look at what the bench unit did. Obi Toppin in 21 minutes, 7 of 9, 18 points. I mean, Obi Toppin in his last 2 games has 30 points combined. Emmanuel Quickly had one of his better games in the recent times. Quentin Grimes needs more minutes. He got 31 minutes tonight, but he needs way more minutes. He needs to be a featured option on this team. He plays with energy. He plays with grit. He plays with everything that this New York Knicks team has been lacking, and Quentin Grimes deserves to start, in my opinion. Maybe that's the change. Maybe it's Evan Fournier that's out of it. And that's the thing, guys. If you watch the game on ESPN, I usually never watch the games on ESPN when it's when it's on MSG. But without Clyde, it was kind of hard, to be honest, even though Mike Breen's sensational. But Jeff Van Gundy on the ESPN broadcast, he was absolutely ripping the Knicks the entire time. And everything he said was spot on. And it hurts to say that. It hurts me to admit that everything Jeff Van Gundy was saying about the Knicks was true. And do you know what he was saying? He was ripping apart the starting 5. And he was saying it's not about missed shots. It's not about, not hitting your free throws. It's not about all that stuff. What the starting 5 is lacking that we've all noticed is the energy. It's the ability to have a fight. They start off that first quarter. They look so lazy. There's no ball movement. It's the same nonsense, the slow-paced offense. And on defense, we're just getting absolutely destroyed because the Miami Heat with the switches and the backcourt cuts and the off-ball movement, the defense doesn't know what the hell is going on. And, I don't know if it's coaching or if it's just personnel, because then when you watch the bench unit come in, you see the 5 off the bench play. They're playing free. The ball's moving. That's what Tom Thibodeau is trying to do. But for whatever reason, the starting 5, it just doesn't work. It's not working. And something needs to change. And I do not know what that change is going to be, but something will happen coming up. I'm really frustrated, as you guys can see. Am I actually glitching? Shout out to everybody in the chat tuning in. I hope I'm not glitching, my man. Let me check. Make sure you guys smash that thumbs up on your way into the stream, guys. I'm trying to go live for you guys and just give my overall thoughts about what the hell is going on with this Knicks team. I want to get into the chat. I want to hear what you guys have to say as well. I really just want to dive deep into this because there's so many things going wrong with this Knicks team that I want to make sure that we, talk about. Because I'm one of those Knicks fans that try my best to be realistically optimistic. I'm never a guy that tries to be, delusional and preach some positivity that means absolutely nothing. But it's getting to the point where there's nothing to be optimistic about. You know what? I'll tell you what to be optimistic about before we get into the rant, because there are some things. And that's RJ Barrett, and that's Quentin Grimes. I would say Mitchell Robinson as well. I'd also say Deuce McBride in the limited times. I feel like the New York Knicks have hit on the rookie class in Deuce McBride and Quentin Grimes. I'll also say Obi Toppin. I'll also say Emmanuel Quickly tonight. Do you guys see a common thread in the positives that I just mentioned? Did you guys notice the common thread? Well, if you didn't notice, the common thread of all the positives, they're all the young players. They're all the players that we drafted. All the veterans are terrible on this Knicks team. I think the only veteran that I can genuinely say I love on the Knicks, that's Derrick Rose. And Derrick Rose ain't even playing because he's been out with ankle surgery for quite some time. It's the young core. And if the Knicks really want to build this team properly, it's time for Tom Thibodeau to understand that the veterans are not going to do anything. The Knicks go down big, right? I think like halfway through the first quarter, we're down like 15 points already Who is the first two players off the bench? It's an aging Taj Gibson, and it's Alec Burks. Like that. All right, guys, that's it. That's it. I don't need to say anything else. I mean, are you kidding me? That's the first two people coming off the bench is the aging Taj Gibson. Don't get me wrong. I love Taj Gibson. He's been a heart of this team. You know, I love nothing but respect for Taj Gibson. He plays the game the right way. But what I'm trying to say is Tom Thibodeau needs to stop relying on the veterans and understand that we have the youth. Jeff Van Gundy was saying as well, he loves the way the bench plays. He said they're playing beautiful basketball. He's saying he loves Quentin Grimes the way he plays with the energy. He loves Deuce McBride. That's the energy. That's the way we're supposed to play basketball. If you guys saw last year, right? Why were the Knicks so good? Why were the Knicks 10 games over 500, and why were we the fourth seed? Outside of Julius Randle being an all-star and an all-pro and all that stuff that he's not right now, I think the biggest difference is energy. Outworking your opponents. No matter who we went up against, we always played at all gas, no break mentality, outworking your opponents for 48 minutes. It would be a grind. It would be to the point where the opposing team would come against the Knicks, whether it's at the Garden, whether it's on the road, and they'd be like, all right, here we go. This is going to be a grind because they're going to play with tenacious energy, and we might get outworked. That's not the case right now. And I don't know what the issue might be, whether it is personnel, whether it is coaching. I think it's a collective of a lot. And the defensive energy is probably the biggest difference for sure. The defensive energy last year, we were top in the league in every single statistical category on defense. And now we're just not there. And maybe that means we give Deuce McBride the keys to the kingdom because his defense is legit for a rookie. You see the way he plays the game of basketball. Just go watch him play when he starts for the G League Knicks. I know he's playing against lesser competition, but he's absolutely balling out whenever he goes there. And if you look at the highlights when he got some minutes, when all the players on the Knicks were out with COVID protocols in like December or so, Deuce had like 3 games, I believe, where he got some minutes, and he played really good basketball, getting into the passing lanes, forcing turnovers, switching on defense, playing with energy, hitting your shots, driving to the rim. He has the entire package. So Deuce McBride deserves minutes, but that means Kemba Walker deserves no minutes. That's the biggest problem. Tom Thibodeau made a big-time move in the middle of this season by benching Kemba Walker. That was a really interesting move. At the time, nobody saw it coming. Well, Tom Thibodeau, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to hold your other players accountable. Like, let's go with Alec Burks, right? Why is Alec Burks getting playing time over Cam Reddish? We traded, and this is my next rant, guys. You ready for this rant? Woo! I got to take a deep breath. We trade a first-round pick for Cam Reddish, and he's not even seeing the floor? I mean, you know what that tells me? That either tells me that the front office and the coaching staff are just not aligned, which is a really big problem, or they are aligned and they have some type of, vision where, okay, we're going to give Alec Burks time to play before the trade deadline, and then we're going to flip him for something, and then that's when Cam Reddish will get all the minutes. I hope it's the second scenario, because if it's a first scenario, that's a problem. And I'm going to say this. If the Knicks acquired Cam Reddish and they do not make any moves at the deadline, and they're going to be waiting for somebody to go down with an injury in order for Cam Reddish to get in the rotation, that's going to be a problem. I mean, how the hell do you go out there and trade a first-round pick and Kevin Knox for Cam Reddish to basically play the Kevin Knox role, which is a situational role? That doesn't make sense to me, man. It really doesn't. And when it comes to Tom Thibodeau as a head coach, it really is crazy because we cannot forget what he did last year, right? The Knicks were the 4th seed. We went on a late surge. The Knicks were top in the league in defense. Tom Thibodeau wins Coach of the Year, brings the Knicks to the playoffs for the first time in 8 seasons. Julius Randle, absolutely crazy year, 24, 11, and 6, 41% from 3. First time somebody's ever done that since Larry Bird. I mean, what Julius Randle did last year, it was mind-boggling. But now, here we are, and Julius Randle's playing his worst basketball I've ever seen as a Knick. And I remember his first season with the Knicks. I hated it. I hated everything about Julius Randle on the first season with the Knicks. And I know everybody can agree with me on that one. It was really hard to watch Julius Randle play basketball in 2019. And now we're in 2022, and it feels the same exact way. Julius Randle is overcomplicating things. And I really believe the biggest problem with Julius Randle right now is he just cannot handle the double teams. He is not a number one option. The only way Julius Randle will be a successful player on the Knicks for the future is if they understand that the offense cannot be ran through him. Because when the offense is ran through Julius Randle, the defenses adjust, and the defenses like the Miami Heats of the world, and we're going to see Milwaukee Bucks do the same exact thing Friday night, they shadow him. They shadow Julius Randle. He gets the ball, and there's always two people in his face, and there's always double teaming. And that's no excuse for Julius Randle playing poorly. What I'm trying to say is Julius cannot handle the double teams. He cannot handle the entire defense focusing in on him because he crumbles. We saw it in the playoffs against the Atlanta Hawks. He makes bad decisions after bad decisions. He dribbles, jumps up, leaves his feet, and turns the ball over. He chucks up bad shots. He's not hitting his shots from three. He lacks confidence. So I feel like Julius Randle needs to realize that, this is RJ's team, man. Run the offense through RJ. I trust in RJ more than anything. And the biggest difference right now between RJ Barrett and Julius Randle that a lot of Knicks fans are realizing outside of their play on the court, it's the energy, it's the mentality, it's the body language, it's the leadership, it's the ability to handle the media. Like, all those things go a long way in New York. As you guys know, we are a rabid fan base and we have a rabid media. Not me, Knicks media. I'm talking about the beat. And maybe I guess you could say I'm part of the media. I'm just a Knicks fan voicing my opinion. I'm not really part of the media, even though that is my name. You guys know what I'm trying to say. But what I'm trying to my point is RJ Barrett handles the media properly. He's a leader. He holds himself accountable. That game that we lost against the Cleveland Cavaliers, RJ Barrett shot 5 of 10 from the free throw line, and we lost by 2 points. RJ Barrett said, "This loss is on me. I need to hit my free throws. It is absolutely inexcusable. I need to get it fixed. I will get it fixed." Julius Randle does not do that. He goes to the media podium, and he's just pouty. He's a big, angry bulldog. And when you see him on the court, he's just, body language is not there. Energy's not there. And you're like, what's happening? Where's that will to win? Where's that fire and desire that Knicks fans fell in love with last year? Jeff Van Gundy was pointing it out that they just lack that will to win, that energy. And energy is contagious if you're a leader, because the entire team looks up to Julius Randle as a leader. Whether we like it or not, that's the truth. And there's no debate about that. The Knicks as a team, they look to Julius as the leader of this team, as well as the coaching staff. Julius is the guy, right? And when they look at their leader and they see no energy and they see no effort and they see lackadaisical laziness and they just see I just don't give a crap. That's contagious, man. It's contagious. It's going to feed off to Fournier, to RJ at times, to Mitch, to whoever's on the court, man. And if your leader is going to be looking at there, it's just really frustrating, man. It really is. It's really, really frustrating, as you guys can see. Welcome into the stream, guys. I'm just getting started on tonight's post game. Smash that like button if you guys enjoying tonight's stream. We got 75 of you guys watching with 38 likes. I would greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's get into the chat. Let's see who's in the chat tonight. We got my guy Kelvin in the chat. What's good, my man? Prestige Shogun, always a pleasure to see you. Louis Sanchez, what's good? Pool Crack, Giant Opinion Sports. What's good? Sports Film Production. You remember me? I'm Justin, just a new account. What's up, Justin? Welcome in. Peter. Omar, everybody in the chat. I hope you guys are enjoying your night. Obviously, we're coming off a very disappointing loss to the Miami Heat. Just did not be competitive by at all. I mean, there was no competitiveness on this team outside of the bench unit. So, if you want to get into the box score one more time, the leading scorer for the Knicks was Obi Toppin. This might be the first time ever that Obi Toppin leads the Knicks in scoring, and he had only 21 minutes and a plus-minus of a plus 20. Like, it's going to get to a point where the Knicks front office needs to get into the coaching staff and start telling them what the hell to do, because we need to start playing this young core. And it's just really frustrating. Pool Crack says Quickly with 7 dimes. Is that true? I didn't even notice that. Emmanuel Quickly, he finished with, let's see, 12 points for Quickly, 7 assists, with only 2 turnovers. Emmanuel Quickly is low-key becoming a very good piece off the bench for the Knicks. I saw some stat on Twitter where if you combine Emmanuel Quickley and Kemba Walker's point guard numbers, just in terms of assists and turnovers, Kemba Walker has like 11 assists and 11 turnovers, and Emmanuel Quickley has like 36 assists to 10 turnovers. So I don't know, man. Some change needs to happen. Tom Thibodeau made a big-time move earlier in the season by benching Kemba Walker. I think something like that needs to happen once again. Somebody needs to head to the bench, and somebody needs to get into the rotation because we're spiraling downward. And, time's ticking. The trade deadline's approaching. The Eastern Conference is stacked. The Atlanta Hawks are all of a sudden red hot, and they're right below us. They're about to leapfrog us. We're about to be 12th. So if something doesn't happen as soon as possible, I don't know what to say. Because also, the Knicks schedule, my buddy Tyler sent me this graphic that just makes me even more depressed. And I'm sorry to share with you guys. But apparently, the Knicks have the second hardest schedule remaining for the rest of the season. Wow. That's really upsetting. It's really upsetting. Second hardest schedule, right? So obviously this is going to become a miracle in order for the Knicks to get their stuff together by the end of the season. I'm expecting some type of move to be made at the trade deadline. Do you guys have any idea what it's going to be? I sure don't. And now it's time to question something that I never really thought we'd have to do. And Jeff Van Gundy kept bringing it up. And that's the offseason moves for the New York Knicks. Was it a mistake to sign Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier? I don't know. Seems like it right now because Evan Fournier got a big contract and he's not doing anything. When he's hot, he's like the greatest player in the world. He's better than Steph Curry. But the problem is that's once every 3 weeks we get that type of Evan Fournier. And now Kemba Walker, he's a liability. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. Kemba Walker cannot play defense. And if he's not dropping crazy, points, what the hell is his value on this team? And I love Kemba. I love his, homecoming with the Knicks. But someone said in the chat, where is it? The Knicks are like 0-5 when Kemba is in the lineup. When he came back, where is that? Here it is. We are now 0-5 with Kemba back in the lineup. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not blaming this all on Kemba Walker, obviously, but it's a collective effort. It's a starting five problem, and something needs to change. Whether that's one person in there, two changes, something needs to change, man. And something really needs to change as soon as possible. And it's really crazy because if you look at the numbers, the only reason why Obi Toppin got 21 minutes is because it was a blowout, and he finished with more points than Julius Randle, and Randle had way more minutes. Like, if you compare Obi Toppin, right? Obi Toppin and Julius Randle. Let's compare the numbers for tonight. Julius Randle, 11 points on 27 minutes and a plus-minus of a minus 34. Blech, makes you want to throw up. Obi Toppin, in less minutes, had 18 points, 7 of 9 from the field, and a plus-minus of a plus 20. So for those guys that don't understand what that means, but I know you guys know what it means, but I'm just going to explain it just to make it the point even, more intriguing, right? When Obi Toppin was on the court, the Knicks outscored the Heat by 20 points. When Julius Randle was on the court tonight, the Heat outscored the Knicks by 34 points. Now, that makes the big question. Do we trade Julius Randle? Because I see it all over the place. Knicks fans want him gone. They want to fire Thibodeau. They want a lot of changes to be made, right? Do the Knicks trade Julius Randle? I think it'll be really hard for the Knicks to actually do that. Number one, a team has to be willing to trade for him. Number two, there has to be some type of return that we get for Randle. I'm not giving him up for nothing. But the problem I have with this, me personally, and I guess that's just me getting sucked into last year's, phenomenal season, is we're coming off a great season, 4th seed, and the front office pays Julius Randle. Randle takes $100 million less at the time. You thought it was a good decision. And Tom Thibodeau wins Coach of the Year, and you're like, wow, this is the beginning of the new Knicks era. Julius Randle's the future of this team. RJ Barrett's going to be right with him. We're going to get stars to come here with Randle and RJ in the future. And now, all of a sudden, we're just halfway through the season, and everything's collapsing. And now everyone wants to trade Julius Randle, rightfully so, because he's playing Garbanzo. So it's just I don't know. I wish I had an answer. I wish I had a magic wand and I can fix all the Knicks problems. But realistically speaking, there's no way. So any questions you guys want me to answer in the chat, feel free to do so. I'd love to get into any of the questions, anything you guys want. We'll see. Let's see what the chat's talking about. Trade Randle for AD. I don't think that's happening. Anthony Davis? Nah. He's injury prone. He can barely stay on the court, and this is not happening. You're talking truth, Richie, but it's kind of sad. I had a lot of hope for this season with the new additions. Yeah, Peter, it just we have to realize where we were in the summer, especially for me. Like, I really genuinely thought that I was really excited when we gave Julius that extension. I was really excited. I really was. I wanted him to be here, this guy, because I fell in love with him. I mean, how can you not after what he did last year? And then now we're seeing this. It's just kind of like a shell shock, and I'm just not really wow, you know? I'm just like, this stinks. It stings, man. It stinks. There's no way around it. There really isn't. But hey, Knicks fans, we're in this together, and I'll be here to cope with you guys through it all, through thick and thin. Do you trade Burks and Noel in a package deal or separate? If you can trade him in a package deal, let's do it. But at the same time, like, we have to realize all the players we want to trade for a reason. So why would another team want these players? First of all, Nerlens Noel cannot stay on the field for more than 2 games in a row. And Alec Burks is just the most inconsistent player on the team. When he's hot, he's better than Michael Jordan. But he's never hot. That was just once in a blue moon. That's like an outlier situation. So Alec Burks, I would love to trade him, because if we move him, that means Cam Reddish gets the job. But like, we re-sign Alec Burks, we re-sign Nerlens Noel in the offseason to contracts, 3-year contracts. So they're here long term, unless we move it on. Move it on, man. Cam Reddish needs to be in the starting lineup. I agree, man. I agree. We traded Cam Reddish. We traded for Cam Reddish, and we all got excited. We're like, oh, RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish on the floor together. This is going to be great. 2 former teammates. We have not seen RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish on the floor together once. What the heck? Burks is just booty cheeks. There you go, Omar. Trade Randle for Simmons. Trade Randle for Fox, straight up. They're not taking that, man. If we can trade Julius for De'Aaron Fox straight up, that's a perfect world. I think Julius Randle more so fits the role of Draymond player type, someone who can be the middleman distributor, but far from a first or second option. Yeah, Drew, this is what I'm trying to say. I agree with this big time. Julius Randle, he's trying to be the number 1 option because he's the leader of the team. And when you're the number 1 option, the reason why I keep quoting it is because he's acting like one. He's trying to act like one, but he's not performing like one. We all know that. But when you are the best player on the team, defenses are going to zero in on you differently, and you're going to have to deal with double teams, and he can't handle that. So if he could become a second or third option, he's not going to have to worry about those. And that's hypothetical if the Knicks keep Randle and build around him and bring in stars where he doesn't need to be the number 1 option. But right now, it's just an absolute nightmare. Like, we're going nowhere with this team. We're going absolutely nowhere, barely even into the play-in tournament at this point. We're on the verge of being in the lottery. That makes you want to cry. Being in the lottery? You kidding me? I thought we were done with the lottery. It felt good to be not in the lottery last year. Gideon says Fox, Murray, Kevin Porter, SGA, or Murray would help us more. Yeah, there's a lot of players that would help us. I don't know who that player is going to be. I don't know if it's one of those players, but we'll see. I wish I could trade Julius for Fox straight up. How do you feel about Van Gundy talking about how RJ can only use his left hand? Yo, like, these guys don't understand RJ Barrett, I guess. You know, obviously RJ Barrett is a left-handed player. But if you watch the games, there's countless times where he dribbles with his right hand and drives and finishes with his right hand. Like, obviously, he's way more ball dominant with his left. But, like, the problem I have with this whole thing, like, whenever there's a righty, when there's obviously way more righties in the league, they never talk about them not using the left. But when it's a lefty, it's like, oh, they're only lefty. It makes me crazy. It really does. Makes no sense. RJ Barrett's been a beast. RJ Barrett's been the only good player on this Knicks team consistently throughout the entire month of January. This man's putting up 23 points per game, 7 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and shooting like 45% from the field and 41% from downtown. I mean, what else do you want from RJ? This man's going to be an absolute dog. But hey, what if we come out of this season and we miss the playoffs? We make a big trade at the deadline. I don't know what that will be, but we can all say RJ Barrett is an ascending star, and he deserves the contract because he's going to be eligible for a rookie extension after this year, and that's the man that deserves the contract. He needs to be extended after this year, no doubt, especially if he continues the way that he's doing right now. If RJ Barrett continues the pace that he's been playing in the month of January for the rest of the season, he needs to be priority in extending. I'll give him that rookie extension right when he's eligible. He's one of those players that just needs to be a Knick for life for so many reasons. Not only his youth, he's only 21 years old, which is just can make you believe the type of potential he really has. But the reason why RJ Barrett deserves an extension more than anything else, in my opinion, is his mentality, is his ability to handle the New York media, handle the New York market, his professionalism at such a young age. It just goes a long way. It just goes a long way. We want Zion. Yeah, I mean, Zion's not even healthy, so we'll see. Dude, they did not get rid of Kevin Knox for Cam in the first round pick for him to take Knox spot on the bench. Someone has to go free up playing time and get rid of Randle. Does not do that. Yo, I know. I'm going on a rant tonight, and I already ranted about this, my man. I said there's no possible way the Knicks traded a first-round pick and Kevin Knox for Cam Reddish just for him to come off the bench, not play, basically. Like, I think there's one or two scenarios with the whole Cam Reddish situation that I brought up. Two theories, right? Number one, the front office and the coaching staff are just not aligned, which is a big problem, which means Leon Rose and all the front office brought in Cam Reddish, and now Thibodeau has him, and he's like, wait, I don't even really want him. Why'd you trade for him? If that's the case, that is a really big problem. But let's hope that's not the case. The other option is maybe they traded for him knowing that when it comes to trade deadline, we're going to make another move, and that move can entail shipping out Alec Burks. So we're gonna keep playing Alec Burks to try to boost his trade value before the deadline, which isn't working because he's playing like absolute garbage. And then at the trade deadline, we move Burks, and then that's when Cam Reddish can take that role off the bench for the rest of the season. You know, that's the only real theories that I have. It's either theory number one or theory number two. And let's really hope it's theory number two, because theory number one, if the New York Knicks are like going to be waiting on a player to get hurt in order for Cam Reddish to play, wow, that's a big time problem. Exactly, Richie. We need to start winning consistently for RJ to be a superstar and to be happy here. We can't waste his prime. We have to win now before he forces his way out. I really don't see RJ forcing his way out. I don't see him as that type of player. I really hope he doesn't do that. He's like the cool thing about RJ, he's not even close to his prime. Like, he's done nothing yet in his own quote. Like, he understands he's done nothing in this league yet, and he's right. He really hasn't. I mean, what has RJ Barrett really done other than just show, like spurts of him having really good stretches? That's really all he has done. He's not even close to his prime. So I feel like the Knicks front office, if there's one player that they want to say that we drafted and developed into a star and he's going to be the face of the franchise, that's RJ Barrett. And that's the only really untouchable guy when it comes to the trade market. That and Quentin Grimes. I think Quentin Grimes should be untouchable. And I think the Knicks value him highly because he was not included in that Reddish deal. I wish Cam Reddish is a superstar. Maybe he is. He has so much upside and potential, and we better give him a damn opportunity to show it. You know what I mean? Hey, man, don't look at 2K and tell me that RJ's going to ditch the Knicks because they got him at 0 loyalty. I don't want to hear that. I really don't. That's funny, though. You also said Alan Hahn literally called out Tibbs on Toppin's playing time, saying he should start seeking his options going forward for Toppin minutes. Couldn't agree more. I agree, man. The amount of time, like, this is what I don't get about Tom Thibodeau. Like, how many times have we seen a player on the court during a game put up a shot and it's a miss, or he just makes one bad play and he just yanks him out? Obi Toppin, you're done. Quentin Grimes, nope, out of the game. Fournier, it's just every player but Randle. It's like whenever Randle is having a really, really rough stretch, he never holds him accountable and benches him for Obi. Like, we never see that. The only time we see Obi Toppin on the court is you know what it feels like? Excuse me. You know what it feels like, which is super frustrating? The only time Obi Toppin gets minutes, it feels like is the only purpose is to give Randle rest. Are you kidding me? Tell me that's not a fact. This is really good for my health, though, guys, because to talk to you, this is like my therapy. Because if you watch my reaction to this game, I was sitting there contemplating my life. Like, what is life? What am I doing here? Why do I let this Knicks team control my emotions? Why do I allow them to make me feel sad? Because I want to punch a hole in the wall. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go live so I can talk to my Knicks fans on YouTube, because I need to connect with you guys. I need to have therapy because I want to rip my head off, and I know you guys can agree. Agree majorly. So many games, Randall scoring under 10 points, shooting like 3 of 10, and he ends up playing 35 minutes. Facts, bro. Facts. Like, what is that? What is that nonsense? If you're going to hold your players accountable, if you're going to bench Kemba Walker for 11 games, if you're going to yank people out early, you got to do that for the entire team, yo. You really do. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. Guys, if you did not smash that like button for your boy, I greatly appreciate that. We got 50 likes. Smash that like button if you guys are enjoying tonight's stream. I'm going to try to go live more often for post games. Hopefully we can get more positive post games instead of me sitting here ranting and going on a blimp about what the hell's going on with this damn team. Maybe you guys clicked this video because you saw Knicks rant and you want to see me go crazy and you want to see me go berserk on this damn team. Maybe that's the reason, and I don't blame you. I really don't. Tibbs got to start coaching instead of standing on the sidelines looking like a cringe. This is a good one, Kelvin. He really is just out there. Like, you know what tonight showed? What a Hall of Fame coach looks like compared to a guy in Tom Thibodeau. I mean, Eric Spoelstra is one of the most underrated coaches, in my opinion, of all time, and he just put on a clinic against the Knicks. Oh, man. Gotta love when Randle passes up wide open shots to step back into contested ones. It is underrated. I do love this. I do love seeing this. I've said this plenty since we got Reddish. I truly do believe that if Reddish was a 30-year-old proven veteran, he would immediately come in and take minutes away from Grimes and IQ. Yeah, I mean, Tom Thibodeau just just values veterans. But the one thing I will say that's a positive about Tom Thibodeau, it seems like he's falling more in love with Quentin Grimes by every single game. He's really getting attached to his energy because Quentin Grimes is the absolute perfect example of the style of player that this Knicks team is trying to go out there and play. Like, he is the perfect draft pick for the Knicks that can just ignite young energy. And maybe that's a good sign that Tom Thibodeau is starting to play the youth. And, you know, he wasn't shy about it last year. You know, he played Manu quickly a lot. He played Obi Toppin a lot as rookies. RJ Barrett, year number 2, got so much minutes. But this year, it just seems like it's not the case. Hopefully, Quentin Grimes gets more minutes because he needs to play more. Quentin Grimes looks like a guy that's going to be playing, you know, a lot of minutes for the future for this Knicks team. He's great. Energy through the roof, three-point shooting, defensive effort. It's everything. That's what I'm saying, Richie. Dave's got to hold Randle accountable. He doesn't listen, then he's sitting next to him on the bench. Yeah, he basically holds everybody accountable but Randle. What is the objective? Build the championship or just make the playoff? Your major problem starts with the coach. Last year's wins raised expectations. Their style of play is primitive. Yeah, man. The goal is a championship. We're not just trying to make the playoffs here and all that stuff. But It seems that way. We're not even on a way to make a playoff push, which is just wow. I cannot believe that. That's the problem. Last year, the season was so great because there was no expectations, and we were just like, yeah, whatever happens, happens. If we don't make the playoffs, we weren't supposed to. But if we do, that is the biggest deal in the world. Now the expectations are through the roof heading into the season, and we're disappointing big time. Big time. You really miss D-Rose. I miss D-Rose. Everyone misses D-Rose. The Knicks miss D-Rose. Oh, man, I miss D-Rose. You're right. We're missing that man big time. Oh, my gosh. The Knicks are doing our free agency last year. It looks horrific. So the funny thing about the Knicks right now, in terms of grading their front office, I think we can all say with confidence that they have done a tremendous job in the draft, but they've done an abysmal job in free agency so far, right? I mean, this Knicks front office drafted, if you include Scott Perry going back to RJ Barrett, and then they drafted Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickly. I think we all love those draft picks. And then this year we get Quentin Grimes, Deuce McBride, Jericho Sims, even throw in Rokas Yakobitis, who's killing it overseas. That's just great drafting. But the problem is the free agency. And this is one problem I have with free agency that maybe I don't want to sound like I'm making any excuses, but it's just what I thought about the free agency and it going about it. The thing about free agency is you can only sign who's available. And I felt like the Knicks got really unfortunate with the free agent classes in these past couple of years. And we have money to the point where we literally have to spend it on something. And it's to the point where they had to spend it on guys like Evan Fournier. And I remember the day I got the news that we signed Evan Fournier, my first reaction was, shit. I didn't want to trade for him at last year's deadline because there was rumors about that. But my point is, you can only do so much in free agency based on who's available, and it seemed like the Knicks just did not do the proper thing. 2 years ago, it seemed like they hit a home run. Signing Alec Burks was great for last year. Nerlens Noel was great for last year, but then we gave them extensions, and they're not playing well at all. Nerlens Noel can't do shit. Oh, man. So frustrating, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream. I've been trying to be consistent on here, but it's been tough to balance all these YouTube channels, especially when the Knicks are taking years away from my life. They are. I'm a young Knicks fan, and they're taking years off my life, man. Knicks should just grow within. No more bad signings. Use that cash to buy draft picks. I agree, Adrian. We have the foundation laid. The young core is there. The problem is there's not a good mixture of the vets and the young core. Like, the good news about the Knicks right now, guys, is we are way better than where we were a couple years ago in terms of a direction. Because a couple years ago, we had no foundation laid. Like, we had no youth where you can say, wow, he's the future. Like, I was blindly optimistic about guys like Frank Ntilikina, Kevin Knox. I mean, I loved Mitchell Robinson at the time and still love him right now. But now we actually legitimately have a nucleus of draft picks that we have on our own in guys like Mitchell Robinson, RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, Deuce McBride, Obi Toppin, and Emmanuel Quickly, even throwing Cam Reddish in there. That's 7 guys that's like 23 years old or younger. Like, that should be the future of this team. And we should hand them the keys. We should let them develop. We should just let them play. And that's not saying we should tank. That's just saying we should go out there and let the kids play and develop. You know what I mean? Oh, my gosh. Hey, Richie, on the bright side, the Jets are looking up for once in 500 years. Yeah, James, I hope so. I sure hope so. IQ, RJ, Grimes, Reddish, Obi, and Mitch starting 5. Sign me up. Sign me up. Not going to happen, though. Agree, but how is that possible, Randle getting the lion's share of the minutes and the touches? Yeah, it's not going to happen. That's the problem. The only way that what I said happens is if the Knicks trade Randle. That's the sad truth. Joseph, please never mention Burks in the same breath as MJ. Obviously, you were carried away with your rant, but the hyperbole is out of bounds. Yeah, I know. It's just a joke. I don't know if you're on Twitter, Joseph, but Knicks Twitter, whenever Alec Burks has a game like that, they post a picture of MJ and Burks' face side by side, and I just found it hysterical. But it is out of bounds. I should not mention that name in the same breath, and you're completely right. I will not do that ever again. I cannot stand the coach's rotations and end-of-game play calling. If Julius stops trying to be a point forward, it might be okay. Yeah, I agree, man. Julius has to realize he's not the guy that you can run the offense through. I mean, it's just stale offense. Just really that simple. I missed the fourth quarter Burks from last year. Facts. I agree. Who's available at the trade deadline? It's going to be interesting to see who's available at the trade deadline, Jay. I don't really know. De'Aaron Fox, there's Grundles, obviously Ben Simmons. There's like a lot of players that Knicks fans want to trade for, but it's like, is that team willing to trade him? Like DeJounte Murray. Like, we're not. Why the hell would the Spurs trade him? You know what I mean? Like, the Spurs are not going to trade Murray. I would love for the Knicks to trade for him, but they're not going to. Hey, we got a donation from Fugazi. Appreciate the dono, my man. $5 for Fugazi. Hype in the chat for Fugazi. Appreciate it, bro. I'm so tired of this lineup, especially Randle. I appreciate what he did last year, but I dread every time he touches the ball. Yeah, this is pretty much exactly how I feel, man. Everyone wants to trade Julius Randle now, and it's getting more obvious and more blatant every single night you see the Knicks trot out there. And I said it earlier in the stream, guys, it's more to Randle's shooting woes. It's more about the energy and the lack of effort. That's what really pushes my buttons. When you see Randle out there trying to be a leader, and he just has no energy, and he's playing lackadaisical, and he just has a weird facial expressions where you're just like, you're supposed to be the leader. We gave you an extension of over $100 million, and this is how you perform. I don't know if there's something going on with his mental, but, it's just really, really frustrating. I appreciate the donation, Fugazi. It means a lot to the channel, my man. But at the end of the day, something needs to change, and there's going to be a lot of things coming. Wow, this is depressing. PJ Tucker plus 37, 7 of 9 against Randle. Yeah, PJ Tucker doesn't miss when he's in the corner, apparently. Obi had a great game today, but is probably going to play 5 minutes next game. Yep, very true. If we want to look back on the box score real quick, it's just really abysmal, guys. It just makes you really makes me in particular want to cry. Because look at this. This is what you got to look at right here. And it won't let me just highlight that. But I know it's probably really small on your guys' screen. But the plus minus for the starting lineup is just absolutely embarrassing. And then you see the bench. There's not one player on the bench with a negative plus minus. How is that even possible? And if you look at the Heat, they're all plus. We just let them just destroy us, man. Duncan Robinson just doesn't miss. 7-11 for 3. That was ridiculous. Like, what the hell was that about? Tyler Hero went off. PJ Tucker, 7 for 9. I mean, we had no defensive energy, and they just didn't miss the entire game. But that was just more of the Heat being a way better basketball team, and then the Knicks just being atrocious. You feel me? Man, oh, man. So, guys, I'm going to end the stream here. I got my juice off my chest. I got the rant off. Oh, when the stream is over, please feel free to comment down below underneath the stream a big, long statement of how frustrated you are at the Knicks. What needs to change? Is it trading Randle? Is it firing Thibodeau? Like, whatever it is, let those hot takes fly in the comments down below after the stream is all wrapped up. And please don't forget to like the video if you guys enjoyed. I really appreciate all the support of Knicks media, even though if the Knicks are trending downwards right now. You guys show a lot of support to the channel, and it means a lot to me personally because this is what I do. This is what I'm trying to do in my life is, be a content creator for my favorite teams, and you guys showing support makes that possible. So I appreciate the support. I'm frustrated. I'm pissed off. But right now, my advice to all the Knicks fans, go relax. Do whatever makes you comfortable, whether that's watching a movie, watching a show, or maybe if you want to relax your mind, maybe do some meditation, do some breath work, calm down the mind. Because that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to go meditate for the night because I need to get my brain totally away from Knicks world, because whenever my brain is over there, I just get really upset. You know what I mean? So that does it for the stream, guys. I appreciate all the support. Like the stream as well if you guys did not already on your way out. If you did not like it, make sure you do so on your way out of the stream. It means a lot, guys. And I'll catch you guys in my next stream or video. Peace out, everybody. Let's